Get into a lot of problems and a lot of strategies and answers to problems. The objective of tonight's meeting is to kind of kick off a project. This is the start. So as we kind of go through this, we're going to talk about what it is that we're trying to do in working on a Big Green Lake management plan. And I'm starting this off for 2 minutes. Jen's going to talk for 2 minutes, and we're going to turn it over to Ted Johnson, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. There's a group of people I'd like to introduce before we get going who've been working together on this over the last couple weeks. We just started. And if I haven't emphasized it, I'll say it one more time. We just started. So, to my right is Jen Kaiser, who is the Executive Director for the Green Lake Association. Ted Johnson. Ted, I never know official titles for the DNR Lake.
Water Resource Biologist.
Okay, Ted's kind of our DNR component on if we have such a thing as a core team right now. I'm Charlie Marks with the Green Lake Sanitary District. In the back of the room, he'll raise his hand, is Jim Heavy with the Green Lake County Land Conservation Team, Department, and Derek Kavanaugh is up here to my left. Dave Bartz is another Wisconsin Department employee with the fisheries. And also, we've had the great fortune of working with a gentleman who just retired from the DNR, Mark Sessing. You got to raise your hand. And who am I forgetting on our? Tom Eddy, who I'm forgetting because he's not here, but he's kind of on our core team. And Tom had come on board in a kind of a capacity. We were asking him to wear a couple hats as he's on the board of the Green Lake Conservancy for Green Lake. I'm sure we all heard stuff about. He's also represents the Green Lake Public Schools. And I see Bert Zaratsky, if he could raise his hand, is here from the Conservancy. So that's kind of the group of people that we started talking with. And my little part to start off tonight for the rest of I just did 1 minute. My second minute is this. A few months ago, Jen's going to talk about what we've done over the last 2 or 3 decades. But over the last couple of years, the document that we've used as we've worked on projects has been something called Green Lake County's Land and Water Resource Management Plan. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, you can take a look at that through Green Lake County. But in that plan, there's a specific section on Big Green Lake and its watershed. And how we kind of came into being with our little core group over the last few weeks is as follows. To Jen Kaiser's credit, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I've kind of been working on different stuff. Jen called me up and she said, Charlie, the Sanitary District's always been involved in a lot of things. And I'm just wondering, she's been here a year or two now. She's really getting her feet wet and very energetic and positive person. She said, as the Executive Director for the Green Lake Association, there's more things that we'd like to do. There's more little projects and programs and things that we'd like to do. So I'm suggesting that we do more of our own Big Green Lake management plan in addition to what's already being done in Green Lake County's Land and Water Resource Management Plan. And I said, Jen, I'd like to talk about that to my board. So I did that last month, and my board said, we think it's a good idea. The more information we can have and the more people we can get involved, we think it's a great idea. So a couple weeks later, here we are. And our intention tonight, like I said, it's fantastic to see this many people. And I hope we don't disappoint you, but our intention tonight is to say this. We're starting this project. We care about what the public and our community thinks because I'm one of the people, and I know a lot of you in this room, I think I feel this way. The most important thing in Green Lake County, in my mind, might be Big Green Lake. So that's why we're here. We're going to talk about some ideas. We're going to throw some things out, and then Jen's going to talk to you about where we go from here. Does that sound right?
Sounds good.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to add just a couple things just to stay on track for our agenda tonight. Since I was kind of new as Executive Director for the last 1.5 years or so, although I've been with the Green Lake Association for about 4, one of the things that I started to do to kind of get myself acquainted is look back at the past studies that have been done on Green Lake, and Charlie referred to that a little bit. So I reviewed the Priority Watershed Project back in the 80s and 90s that the Sanitary District and the Land Conservation Department and the Wisconsin DNR worked to implement. And the Priority Watershed Project was a huge undertaking for our lake. And what it basically did is it looked at all of the sources of non-point pollution on Green Lake and tried to do something to curb that pollution from coming into the lake. And it was one of the first priority watershed projects in Wisconsin. But that plan was dated back in the 90s, and since then there really hasn't been much of an update, with the exception of maybe in the mid-90s, of where that non-point pollution is coming from. Non-point pollution, for those of you who aren't really sure of that term, it's just basically runoff coming into the lake that pollutes the lake. So it's an older project, and it was successful on many different levels, but it definitely is an older plan that just focused on that. In addition to the County Land and Water Resource Plan, they just updated their new plan, and it's available on their website. But again, that for the most part just focuses on non-point pollution. So the purpose of this lake management plan is something that's more comprehensive. It does more than just focus on non-point pollution. It takes a look at aquatic invasive species. We plan to look at education, aquatic fisheries, aquatic habitat, the land surrounding, preservation of the land surrounding the lake. So it's a bigger picture, it's a big undertaking that's extremely comprehensive. And the other thing that we hope that this will do is that there are many stakeholders around the lake that are working to help conserve the lake. And we hope that this will serve, our goal or objective is that this will serve as a vision so all of the organizations can work together in a collaborative effort to really make long-term impacts in terms of water quality and so on and so forth. So with that being said, we do have additional public workshops that we'll be announcing at the end of this workshop, and I've got save the date cards that I'll pass out but at the end of the meeting. But for now, I'd like to introduce Ted Johnson and the Wisconsin DNR, and he is going to be kind of just going over the overview of what a lake management plan is and what the process is going to entail.